Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Awaken the World. We are live right now on this 29th day of April. It's hard to believe a third of the year has already passed us by. It is 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time if you're on this planet and on this continent, and of course, Outgrowing the Masks. Hi. So I really had to have a little chuckle about this because it never even occurred to me. Here I was contemplating, as I was sitting outside with the birds and the flowers and the gently falling rain and thinking about that which I would like to discuss tonight. And, it was all about the egoic masks that we wear and how much that has been impressed upon me this last week. How many, times I've seen it firsthand up close over and over and over again. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that I can see right through everybody. And that is indeed a blessing and a curse, as with all things in life. It's in your perceptions. So before we get too deep into this, I'm going to scratch my nose and I'm going to let you know, of course, each and every one of you, how much I love you. You are truly perfect just the way you are. Now, the thing about perfection is it isn't an end game. It isn't a finish line. All of creation is still in the act of perfecting that perfection. And there's a strange, Mobius twist in that you can't seem to get out of, and that's okay. Just know that you're exactly where you need to be right now. And it's not to suffer, it's not to experience anything that you would perceive as negative, but to instead realize the true nature of yourself and the true power of your own being. So tonight we're going to talk about the masks, and as I said, we're not talking about the that sort of mask. But while we're on the subject for a minute, there is an interesting thing that I think has occurred, and I've noticed this in my studying of humanity. And well, it's a long story as to how that all started, but without the facial expressions, we're driven to look much more closely at a person's eyes. And, I look directly at people, and I notice a lot of people, I like to get them right in the eye and just sort of, deer in the headlights. But the truth of it is that a lot of people won't look you in the eye. They'll look you in the mouth, or they'll look you in the forehead, or they'll look you in the nose, or they'll look somewhere else. But a lot of people just won't look you in the eye. And the wearing of masks, I've noticed, has sort of, made it more necessary to gauge where a person's at, to actually pay more attention to their eyes and what's happening there. And that can be a really, really good thing. So, as with all things, it's in our perceptions. And we're going to dive right into this talk tonight, and why I'm a little bit serious about it. And serious for me comes and goes. Because in the moment I'm getting too serious about something, there's that gentle internal smile that begins, and the reminder that it's really okay. But I have a deep love for all of creation. I have a deep love for each and every one of you. I have a deep love for every creature on this planet, every form of life. And I do not wish, if not necessary, to see humanity continue to drive itself towards a cliff it may not easily recover from, if at all. And, when I started this channel up going back approaching 3 years ago now, I never thought there'd be, approaching 600, 700, 800 videos between all the different locations and repositories. I think there's actually more than that now. But the point being is that it is time for us to wake up. It is time for us to be willing to start to self-actualize what we really are. And it is so important for not only our immediate future, but the future of humanity's children, the future of humanity's grandchildren. This is a critical time in humanity's growth, and we've been here before, and other civilizations, let's just say, that didn't have really humanity involved in the way that we would know it, have also been here. And it is a precarious place to be. Throughout known creation, throughout our universe as we know it, there is civilization after civilization that literally wipes itself out. And the process begins again. And since there is no time, that too is perfectly okay. But out of a deep sense of compassion and love for each and every one of you, I feel it's necessary to, quite frankly, kick the door down. And this is what it comes to when it comes to the masks, okay? It really is time to outgrow the masks. Now, the masks we wear come in so many forms that they're almost infinitesimal. But we're going to talk about the main masks, the ones that people tend to default to. And the first mask is the idea that to let someone know the honest truth of what you're really thinking simply can't be done. And that mask is almost like an iron mask. It freezes our expression, if you can imagine, so that whatever's coming out of our mouth, which is not the truth, will appear to be the truth, or at least appear to be reasonable. But the issue is it's not the truth. And we will concoct a plethora of excuses as to why we don't want to speak our truth and instead speak an untruth. And quite frankly, it's either your truth or it's your bullshit, but there's no such thing as a mix. If you take a flour and a pile of crap and you put them both together in equal measure, you're still not going to want to smell it. And I apologize for the language. I do. Why is it so important to speak our truth? Well, the first place we limit ourselves is always with ourselves. And we do that through putting on that mask that says, I am not comfortable enough to speak my truth out into the world. Now, when it comes to how you speak your truth, I've been through it, and I still go through it. The answer to that is you're responsible to speak your truth as openly and compassionately as you possibly can in the moment, which means in the moment right now, in what's happening right now, whenever that right now may be. So, Kelly faced this week, and I won't get into too much detail, where she had an opportunity to speak a little bit of truth towards someone that she loves. But the fear of cutting off the level of communication that currently exists is greater. And that's part of that mask. That's part of that unwillingness to be totally clean and free with oneself. And when we're not, that's where the dysfunction begins, because you've just created a conflict within yourself. When your being is crying out clearly and saying blank, and you, because you're worried that no one will accept blank, say blunk. You immediately create a conflict within your own self. A diminishment of that which you truly are in favor of the egoic sense of fear or guilt or whatever the case may be, that's keeping that mask in the way. That's blocking the world from seeing your true face. Now, I use that term purposefully. In my travels throughout the planet, I've had numerous contacts with various First Nations across the globe, and many of them, that's really what they have to say about, the modern man versus their First Nations peoples, is that we've forgotten our true face. We hide our true face. We cover our true face in those fig leaves, right? This extension of the physical mask, I mean, the mask, we're wearing that mask anyways. We're not allowing our true being to show. And the reasons why we do that are many. And we've talked about them all, I believe. And if there's some I've missed or some you're unclear about as to why, or you want to know why, about more specifically why you wear that mask, please make some time and talk to me. Let's find out. You came here to be an expression of God's consciousness personified in what we would call human form. And you are a one of a kind. What is accomplished by what's inside of you not being shown to the world? Even if you gain the momentary, the one thing I'm wary about most of all would be to become famous. I would not want to become famous. I have no interest in fame. I have interest in waking up my family, waking up humanity, waking you all up to the truth that if you don't catch the dysfunction where it begins in your own willingness to be truthful to yourself first and foremost, and then be truthful as an expression outward of yourself to the world. And you got to stop caring about what other people think about the real you. Because the real you is beautiful and perfect and unique and special and just the way you're supposed to be, and the rest of them can be damned in their unconscious behavior. And when I say that, I'm not talking to a place called hell. We're all the product of our own hells. We create those experiences, and we do that. We start that with the unwillingness to allow that truth within us to freely flow outward without fear. We live in a world where, most of us are quite fortunate. Allowing our truth to flow outward doesn't land us in prison. It doesn't land us tortured. It doesn't land us killed. So what if those people who were so concerned about having their friendship or, being a member of that group, if they're going to think less of you because of the truth of who you are, I have news for you. You really ought to make some new friends. Now, yes, being totally truthful to yourself can really appear painful. I get it. You can lose your family over it in the short term, maybe even in the long term. Maybe some members stay or don't stay or accept you back or don't accept you back. You can lose relationships over it. You can lose position in business. You can lose your financial wealth. There's all sorts of things that can happen to you. But the one thing that you will be is free. And I promise you that even in those darkest of experiences, all of creation is loving you and just saying, be the light that you are. That is the primary mask. And like I said, it's more like an iron mask. It's nearly faceless. It just has a parody of a human being there, almost like the play mask, except not near the false smile or false frown. It's kind of a neither up nor down. I'm okay. I just am. So that's the main mask that we have to be willing to outgrow, to be willing to say no more, to be willing to commit to yourself, to be totally true with yourself, to be totally honest with yourself first and foremost, to be willing to look objectively at yourself without judgment, without blame, without need for retribution or to beat yourself up in any way, but simply see what's there. And then ask your deepest heart of hearts, where do I go from here? And the next time someone walks up to you and wants you to do something that's contrary to who you are, even if you're afraid, even if you may somehow feel you're going to lose them in the process, the short-term suffering of having them go by the wayside because of you sticking to the truth of who you are is nothing compared to the long-term suffering that you are not going to put yourself through. Because this mask that we first put on, where we stop being true to ourselves and and stop expressing our truth as we feel it inside of us and start modifying it to fit what others want to hear, that is the beginning of playing the game. Now you've become a participant in that game. And the reason we get so upset when we find someone has lied to us about something is because we recognize that we're a liar too. We're not willing to come clean with another about what we really feel. And I'm not talking about trying to do the person harm in any way. I'm talking about the honesty, the openness. And of all the excuses, compassion seems to be the one that gets abused most of all. So in this process of talking about letting go of this particular mask, and this is the primordial beginning first mask, it's the mask that you naturally begin to develop as a child when you begin to notice the huge disconnect between what everyone around you says and does in relation to what everyone around them says and does. And you end up falling victim to that game. And at some point you become unaware that you're even playing it a lot of times. So when we talk about compassion for another, when we talk about compassion for ourselves, we need to get something crystal clear. Compassion has nothing to do with enabling ourselves to continue down the same path. Compassion with ourselves is knowing when we have to cut ourselves off. It's knowing when you have to come to a point where you're willing to say enough is enough, and that is couched in that honesty of being towards oneself. Not judgment, responsibility. Recognizing when you're feeling weak and being okay with being weak. Diving into your weakness and understanding your weakness, not running from it. What you deny and try to hide from is still standing there waiting for you. People, men and women, but a lot more women than men, spend year upon year upon year in relationships that they know they don't want to be in anymore. But that mask that separates the truth of what's screaming from inside of you from getting out into the world. And the world needs that right now. We don't need to be telling ourselves or anyone else around us all the untruths. We don't need to be playing this game for the sake of humanity as a whole, for the sake of this planet, for the sake of the growth of our species and the evolution of our children and our grandchildren. Right now is the time to say no more. No more will I be untrue to myself. Now, that doesn't mean some sort of twisted sense of righteousness that puts you on a pedestal above any other human being. It doesn't. What it does is put all of humanity eye to eye on the same field. And no, it's not easy when you become true to yourself and start to speak that truth out. Kelly will tell you, I'm a polarizing individual to most of the people that I meet. You're either going to love me or you're going to hate my guts. Frankly, I'm not concerned with either way because I don't have control over that. And I'm not here, and you're not here for creation to look down upon you and say, well, no, I totally get why you're doing what everyone else around you is going to be happy with. And there's no judgment. You can do it. It's all right. You can waste lifetime after lifetime doing it. Or you can realize that there's a reason why you're here right now. There's a reason why you were born in this time. There's a gift you have to offer that humanity needs at a critical juncture at its evolution. And boy, let me tell you, we're here. Become free. A lot of the disease, the dysfunction that goes on at the level of the egoic self, at the level of our conscious thinking and subconscious thinking, at the level of our body's physical manifestation of that energetic field, a lot of the illnesses and aches and pains that we experience are directly tied up in where with ourselves are we being truthful and open and honest, and where are we not? And where are we not being willing to speak that out, to release that? Because when it's not released, no matter what the story is that you tell everyone else to gain their approval, whatever the truth is that is sitting there denied, it turns from, because everything is both sides of that coin, it turns from that new shoot of the tree of life into the thorn that creates a wound. We wound ourselves in that process. And we have lots of reasons why we couldn't be truthful to ourselves. You are a powerful spiritual being here having a human experience. You are not a human being here trying to attain some level of spirituality. You are here to remember who and what you are and what you came to manifest through this appearance. And humanity, all of us right now more than ever, need the real you. And you need the real you. And when you're willing to accept and face the truth of who you are and move forward confidently from that place, you will attract all the right, wrong word, you will attract all those things that you feel you're losing. They will come around in different form, in more fulfilling form, in form that is open and honest, and you will revel in the appearance of yourself as you truly are. And you will be free and confident. And in that you will begin to radiate that confidence outwards. You know, there's a lot of places that we go visit and it's instantly apparent when Garen has arrived. There's just something that happens. There's something that changes in the air. And I care not of such things really, but it is indeed joyful to see how the openness and honesty with yourself and the willingness to expose myself completely to others. I gotta be careful these days. Not in the way you're thinking. But being willing to be totally open, to hide nothing, radiates the light of who you are. All the things we put in the way of that truth are that which blocks the light. Much love to you this evening. Namaste. That's all I really have to say. This is not Dr. Zeus, but me. I don't even know what day it is anymore. I think it's Thursday. Have a beautiful Thursday night. Give this some thought. Take a look closely at your own life. See where you're not being open and honest with yourself, and see where you're not being willing to speak that openness and honestness freely into the world. Don't worry about another's opinion. Worry about how you feel when you look in the mirror. Again, all my love. Take care. Have a good night.